Hey friends, I am back with a really fun collaboration called Scale It Down with Simone Schermann and Suzanna Lee. These ladies reached out to me and asked me to be a guest designer for this series. And what they're doing is they're trying to inspire scrapbookers to use a traveler's notebook as a way of documenting your memories. So this week's challenge is all about using 5 scrappy items. That's right, only 5, and I'll tell you what they are in a minute, to create a spread. So here is my traveler's notebook spread. I'm just now getting into traveler's notebooks and I actually like it after playing and finding my style. So let me show you what I'm going to be using. By the way, you can find Simone and Suzanna here on YouTube. I posted their links down below, so make sure you visit them and see their take on this challenge. Now, I was asked to select 5 items for this theme. So the first one is pattern paper, then a sticker font, a stamp, a tab, and then either a chipboard die cuts or cardstock die cuts to create a traveler's notebook spread. Now, all of the materials that I'm using for this traveler's notebook spread come from my recent Felicity Jane kit, and it's just sitting on my desk. So I just grabbed a couple of things. I didn't overthink it because, of course, the whole idea of a traveler's notebook is to be able to create something quickly without a whole lot of thinking about it, right? So here we go. The traveler's notebook spread that I'm using, or actually the notebook that I'm using, is a little bit over 4 inches by 8 inches. So the pages that are in the actual traveler's notebook that I create are 4 by 8. So I cut 2 pattern papers to 4 by 8. Then I took a journaling card from the kit that I'm using and I layered my photo on top of that. And I punched out a tab using my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. I did that off camera. And now I'm going to incorporate a stamp. There we go. And I think that says just what I needed on that stamp. And I'm going to adhere that in just a second. I'm going to let that ink kind of dry out just a little bit. Using some Nouveau adhesive, which I love, I'm going to adhere a chipboard heart. And that's so pretty. I love that right there. Just that nice little textured embellishment. Not too much because the traveler's notebook doesn't have a ton of room to be bulky. Then I'm going to add my tab. I did a little bit of adhesive on the tab and then I stapled it to reinforce it so it doesn't fall off, which is often the case for me in my tabs, so I have to always reinforce them. So now I'm trying to decide, do I want to stamp on that card that says details on top of the photo or above the photo? And I'm going to think about that, so I move that to the side. So I'm going to start on the left-hand side of my layout, again layering my photo with some pattern paper. Actually, no, a journaling card from the kit. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. Now I've got some more of these chipboard hearts that came with my Felicity Jane kit. I want to get those used up. I'm going to adhere that down with my Nouveau adhesive. And then I'm going to adhere another one of those hearts, so that's gold and a nice little soft pink. Now I did pull a label. Here comes the die cut part of this. And I thought that I would stamp the sentiment smiling on there. And I think I abandoned this little label towards the end, but I can't remember. So I'm going to use some Stays On ink because the paper that label's made out of has a slick surface, and Stays On ink is a solvent ink, so it's going to dry nice and quick on that slick surface and it won't smudge. So I have that word smiling stamped right on there. I almost dropped my pad, which I've done tons of times, to drop my ink pad on a white surface. Horrible. Now I'm going to grab another stamp. So I'm doing a lot of stamping here on this layout. And that's a nice thin stamp, and it says My Favorite Place, and that's going to feed into my title. So the title of this layout is My Favorite Place, Busy Studio. And this whole spread is just about me being really busy. Lately I have a lot of projects, and really being in my studio is my favorite place to be at the moment because I'm doing so many wonderful creative things, and it's just exciting and it fills me up every day. So I'm going to grab the sticker font from Felicity Jane. It's a chipboard sticker font, so including more of that material in there. And then in a minute, I'm going to grab another sticker font as well because I want to have a more interesting look to my title, and I do this quite often. So I grab another Felicity Jane sticker font. This is a thin black sticker font. And I'm going to spell out the word studio. Now, I can't get things straight to save my life. And I have a tool that will allow me to get my items straight, and I never pull it out. It just sits under my desk, and I never pull it out. So I just chance it. So it does look a little wonky, but you know what's going to work. I can't worry about those details right now. I got more creating to do. So I'm going to adhere my sticker fonts on the chipboard letter fonts rather, on the paper so that it doesn't fall off. I don't know what it is about chipboard letter stickers, but they just don't adhere very well to projects. So you always have to add just a little bit more adhesive so they don't fall to the bottom of your page protectors or fall out of your albums. I want to add just a little bit more to this, so I grabbed my die cuts, my cardstock die cuts there. Had that little plant at the top, which is totally cute. Then I thought I was going to add some more elements, and then I decided against that because at that point it was just going to look a little bit too busy. I typed out my journaling and I printed it on vellum, and the idea is to adhere that on the little card that says details. And I didn't want to write directly on the card because I was scared that I might mess up, and that's the only card that I have. So I went ahead and typed up my journaling, and I'm adding some Xyron adhesive. So I just brandished that right onto that vellum. Now I'm trying to figure out in which order that journaling goes. I think I mess it up a little bit, but it still reads fine. So I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. Nobody will know the wiser, just between us. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere all that down on the card. So it kind of looks like I typed directly on the card if you're not looking too close at it. And there we go, a finished traveler's notebook spread, only using 5 items or so, all very well coordinated. Your layouts don't have to be overly complicated, just as long as you're telling the story and putting some pretty things on your layouts, you're good to go. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere my pages into my album directly. I find that it's easier to work in my traveler's notebook this way. And I discovered that my corners on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of my pages aren't rounded, just like the papers in my album. So I'm going to go ahead and round those corners real quick. By the way, I'm using a Felicity Jane traveler's notebook insert. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that up, and then, oops, my tab's in the way. So I'm going to have to move that here in a second. So I pull out that staple. I do this stuff a lot. I adhere things down, I pick it up. You know, it is what it is. So I adhere that down. Again, it has some adhesive on the back of that tab. I'm sorry, not label, the tab. And then, of course, I'm going to reinforce it with a staple, pull off the adhesive in the back, adhesive in the back. I can't talk, apparently. And then I'm going to adhere that right directly into my traveler's notebook. And that's going to look pretty cool. And that little tab is just going to hang right on out there, and that's fine with me. So there we go, a completed traveler's notebook. If you want to get a closer look at this project, head on over to the Victoria Marie blog. The links are posted down below. Thank you to Simone and Suzanna for inviting me. This was absolutely fun. To learn more about these ladies and their creative projects, make sure you head on over to their websites and their blogs and the whole nine. It's posted down in the description box below. And if you are new to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, you like what you see, make sure that you subscribe, and when you do, click the bell indicator so you'll be notified every time a new video is posted to this channel. If you are from Suzanna or Simone's YouTube channel, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. Thanks for stopping by.